Hi, hello, welcome to my review of Star Wars The Clone Wars Season 6 The Lost Missions. This is the season that came out in 2014 on Netflix actually, after the show was already cancelled in 2013 after the 5th season ended, which is pretty weird to be honest because the 5th season left so much open. Basically after every season it was kind of possible to end it there, not because it was really a good ending for the show, but because none of the storylines were that big so that you would have to continue it. But it feels like after season 5 everything was left so wide open that it would be pretty disappointing to not have another season afterwards. And so in 2014 they made another season, which is season 6, that is basically the canon ending of the show for like 6 years, because until 2020 there wasn't anything coming out from the Star Wars The Clone Wars series, and I'm wondering how the people were reacting to it, because it's like, honestly, the show's not that good, or the season is not that good, and it doesn't answer any questions that were raised in the 5th season of the show. So it's pretty disappointing actually to hear that your maybe favorite show is cancelled after leaving so much open, and then to hear that it's actually coming back with another season and then it just not answering anything that was teased. This season is the shortest thus far. It has only 4 storylines that are spread out through 13 episodes, which is not a lot, at least not in comparison to the other seasons, but I was kind of glad that they use so little episodes, because I had the feeling that this show would kind of concentrate much more on the more interesting and more important storylines, rather than just having the whole season filled with unnecessary episodes. But the thing is, this season is my least favorite season of this show since season 3, and the first storyline in this season, which is from episodes 1 to 4, is the only really good one. And also actually the latest Star Wars The Clone Wars episode that I watched as a child, like when this came out newly. These first 4 episodes are pretty interesting because they kind of tease on the mystery of Order 66. It's about Fives, one of the main clones we know from the whole show. I think the first time he appeared was in the first season actually. And he discovers a mystery basically behind another clone that is malfunctioning and killing a Jedi for seemingly no reason. And so Fives goes on an investigation to like uncover the truth of what has happened. And it's kind of like the Ahsoka episodes in the end of season 5. Ahsoka trying to uncover a mystery, and it just basically is a downward spiral of her uncovering more and more things, but also getting framed for more and more things, and in the end she just completely destroys her reputation, and it's leading to some very drastic changes in her life. And that's basically what these 4 episodes are as well. They are very dramatic and actually a big step up from like what we generally know from Star Wars The Clone Wars, it feels like. Because first of all, this streak of episodes feels so much more cinematic. There are so many great shots in these 4 episodes, a lot of long shots as well that feel like so intense in a way, and that really just like are so out of nowhere, because it never really was a show that was very visually appealing. It was mostly just about the stories themselves. Also, what I think is a big step up is that in episode 2 or 3 there was this robot sidekick of Fives, and I am very used to having sidekicks in this show that are just completely annoying. Like every single robot that is kind of meant to be funny, or Jar Jar Binks, they are just so annoying, and I'm kind of surprised that they finally have a sidekick in the show that is not completely annoying and just distracting from the episode. And also I have to say that this streak of episodes really fits into the general topic and theme of whatever is going on in Star Wars The Clone Wars up to this point, because it's even more hopeless and even more dramatic and sad than all the other episodes about Ahsoka Tano and about Darth Maul that we had in season 5, that were basically the best episodes of the whole show, or some of the best episodes in the whole show. So when I watched these episodes I was really hyped, but to be honest, that's it. It doesn't really get better after this. The next few episodes are seriously about Rush Clovis and Padme Amidala and the banking clan. Wow, these are some of the most boring political episodes. Like the political episodes in general are just really boring and unfitting in this whole show. They feel so passionless and boring and dull. And the only really good episodes that were about politics in this whole show were when the leader of Mandalore had like a different type of person trying to kill her in every single episode. That was actually a pretty fun streak of episodes, because there was always kind of danger to it and I kind of cared for her character there. But right now it's so boring and I really don't want any political episodes anymore. And they just feel so out of place in this whole season, and especially after season 5, because again it felt like they were kind of heading towards something much more interesting, and I really hope the death of Watch Clovis at the end of this storyline marks the end of all these political episodes in the show, because we only have one season left, and I really just hope they finish the storylines of Darth Maul and Anakin and Ahsoka well enough and just ignore everything about like banking clans and democracy and whatever. I just don't care. I really don't care. We had enough. The next two episodes are The Disappeared Part 1 and 2, and this feels like a type of episode that the show should have been like growing out of a long time ago. It's another just episodic adventure of the Republic going onto a neutral planet that needs help and just try to solve a problem there. These episodes are like not boring, they are not awful, but they just feel like they are the same over and over again, just a slight variation. It's kind of cool to see different planets in this whole universe, but it's just like we had so many already, and it feels like the story itself is just dry and not that interesting. I do have to say that the two characters who are on this planet are Mace Windu and Jar Jar Binks. And Mace Windu is not the most interesting character, and Jar Jar Binks is easily one of the most annoying character in this whole show. But they made it work well enough so that I was kind of interested in what was happening. And I was not annoyed by Jar Jar Binks. He actually was kind of mature in these episodes, which is so surprising. But again, because this is just another episodic adventure that doesn't really have anything to do with the overarching storyline of our main characters, it just feels like it's very unnecessary. And that's already it, because the next storyline is already the last storyline of the season. And so far, like, there was not really a lot happening except for one very good storyline. The last 4 episodes of the season are about Yoda mainly, and he's about to uncover a lot of mysteries and secrets about the Sith, about Master Sifo-Dyas, and also about the future of the Republic and the Jedi Temple. That's a kind of interesting storyline. The main good thing about this story is in general just that Yoda, one of the most wise and one of the oldest Jedi in the whole universe, is all of a sudden uncovering the truth about the fact that everything they built is just crumbling very soon, and like it's so horrifying to see him like see everything just go downhill. With all these visions that he has. It's not just something that is said and then they try to solve it and then they actually solve it. No, it's actually like episode 3 is one of the most tragic things that has happened in the whole saga of Star Wars, and he is just seeing this for the first time now. But here's the thing. These 4 episodes are very similar to episodes 15 to 17 from season 3. These episodes were about Obi-Wan and Anakin, and I think also Ahsoka, going on this weird planet that they had a signal from, and then they basically uncovered this big mystery about the Force and about the Jedi, and it was very weird. I didn't really like the episodes, especially because it felt like they were just explaining something that we didn't really need explaining to. Honestly, the whole lore of the Jedi and why they have these powers and everything about that is a mystery that I don't want to see uncovered. And these episodes and also the episodes we have now with Yoda, they just like tell way too much. It feels like all this big mystery is just explained more and more over the course of the show, and I really don't want this explained. It's like I'm okay with this just being the way it is, and the big problem is that in the end it doesn't really change a lot, because the only thing he does in these 4 episodes is basically learn something about the future, but because he doesn't really tell anyone about it because he wants to keep it for himself, nothing really changes. And I know that the Republic is definitely going to fail in episode 3 of the Star Wars saga, and so it's just kind of like, what was the point? Like, he doesn't really change anything. And because the season already ends, there's nothing that comes after this. He's just like, he just went somewhere, someone said something to him, and then it's over. And it's not like we learned anything new, because we already, as a viewer, knew what was going to happen too. Like, the only people who don't know what is going to happen are the people who watch episode 2 and episode 3 of the prequel series, then the whole series of Star Wars The Clone Wars, and after that they watch episode 3. Which doesn't really make sense, to be honest. And I mean, if you want to do that, fine. But I guess that's not the majority. And that's it. That's the whole season 6 of Star Wars The Clone Wars. One story is amazing, one story is fine, one is just pointless, and one is ass. This whole season feels like it's so much underneath the quality that we had at the end of season 5. We could have just taken the storyline of 5s and added it to season 5. If we just deleted all these unnecessary episodes we had in season 6, it would have been completely fine, because it's also just so much wasted potential. We had so much tease in season 5 about our main characters, and they were just not used at all. Like, where was Ahsoka? Where was Darth Maul? I'm not like mad that they were hidden in a way and that they weren't always present, but it's just like, this is like a whole season of them not even appearing or being mentioned really, and their storylines are basically just abandoned, even though they were easily the most interesting thing about Star Wars The Clone Wars up to this point. So I really don't know what went wrong with this one. The storylines themselves are not completely horrible for the most part. So I guess the season of Star Wars The Clone Wars, 4 out of 10. Just hoping that the next season is going to be a little bit better. The thing is, I know that a lot of people were praising season 7 a lot, and the fact that they waited 6 years to come back with the show makes me believe that they must have come out with some material that was worth showing. So yeah, thank you for watching, and see you guys next time when I'm reviewing season 7 of Star Wars The Clone Wars. Goodbye.